Welcome back everyone, it's Joanna here, and today I really want to talk about a stress-free routine before exams. And especially here I'm talking about the ETH exams. So as you may know, the exam session at the ETH is quite well known, that it is in August and that you just have to study the whole summer and you don't have any vacation. But never mind, for architecture it's actually once a year and we don't really have exams in the winter. So there's always a question, what is an exam exactly? Like what it is again, because after 1 year you really can forget what this is. And in today's video I really want to talk about how to not be stressed before an exam, how to go to an exam and be more or less confident about what you're doing and not to stress out too much. So of course, one big thing is you have to study. So you have the whole summer to study, and if you do that more or less, and I really try to have several things done a few days before the exam, or at the best like 1 or 2 weeks before the exam. So like 1 day before the exam, I always read the summary once again, and this mostly takes up like 4 to 6 hours to really read all the things, and mostly I have like 40 or 60 or more pages per year per exam. So yeah, it takes quite a long time. Yeah, and I really just do that to refresh again what I've learned over the summer. And at that point, of course, I've done several things in a row that led me to this more or less stress-free day before the exam. So over the year I really try to keep on with the lectures, and I will listen to lectures and write my notes with my pencil, like my Apple Pencil. It doesn't really matter if it's on paper or on the iPad, but I think that if you write by hand it's much more easy to retain what you've learned. And then if there are like scripts or texts that are really ongoing throughout the year, I really try to read them in the week that the lecture is being held. Like this, I really have 2 different things that I do in a week. I listen to the lectures and I write notes, and I also have the other source of information, like a little script that really helps also to see things differently. In my summer break / studying phase, I always or mostly write a summary. Sometimes there are really great summaries that you get from others or from the internet, but in most cases I think that writing your summary yourself really helps to get that knowledge that you have gained throughout the year, to write it down again, and you really have to formulate. I really like to write text and not just bullet points, because that way I really have to think about what I'm writing and it has to make sense in it. Yeah. But I also think it's really important to compare with other people's notes or other summaries, so that way you are sure that what you are writing is correct, because people sometimes don't hear everything. It's definitely the case for me. I don't think that I get everything that I need to get, and it really helps if you have other summaries or other notes, and then you just can assemble everything into one summary that you wrote, and this is a really great learning technique. As I said before, I really try to have the summary finished like several weeks, or maybe like 2 or 1 week before the exam, so I can really read it then once. The other thing that I also like to do before the exam, obviously, is to go through flashcards if I have any. It doesn't make sense for every course, but sometimes when you know things by heart, it really helps, and I really like to do this also in the evening before I go to bed, because I think then I really can remember things better. In most cases it's really okay for me to go through them like 3 to 5 times, but I mostly do like 3 or 4, because then I really, the first time I'll look at them and just read what is on them, and the next times I really try to retain the information and know everything by heart. The other point that is really important also is, if you have read the summary already, then you can really try to explain the things or what you've learned to others, to your family members, to friends that maybe not studying the same as you, but also like group studying is really helpful. Then you really see what you're lacking, what you don't know still, and maybe where you are like quite good at. So it really helps to see where the others are, and also to gain a little bit more confidence and you're not alone, you know. And I also look at the slides and try to do like an active recall, because there's many things that I have to study are like picture based, and then you can really do quite a good active recall with the slides and to think what is that and which architect or things like that. And the last thing I also do before an exam is to do all the exercises. If there is a course that requires calculating, I really try to go through all the exercises that I had throughout the year once again, and yeah, understand them and know how to solve them. So these are really the things that I do in the studying phase, like until one day before the exam. And as I said before, I really try to read the summary before the exam once again. And sometimes if I have enough time, I also like to repeat this active recall exercise with the slides as well. And sometimes I also do flashcards, but this is more something that I do the day before in the evening. On the day of the exam, if I have in the afternoon or the day before, I really try to go through my summary once again. If I have like spare time, I also go through the slides with this active recall once again. Then there are really strange things that I also do before an exam, but I think just studying before an exam can get really stressful, and maybe you realize that I don't know this as well as I'd like to, and this can be really stressful and can give you anxiety about the exam. But that's why I try to do as much as I can beforehand and not the day before. But as everyone knows, it's not easy, and sometimes you just do things at the last minute. But nonetheless, I really try to relax somehow the day before, and probably there are things that for everyone is different. But for me, I really like to, for example, tidy up my room or declutter a little bit, because this really relaxes me. And I also try to do some sports or do like activities. It doesn't really matter what. And also going outside is really important for me, because when you have like fresh air, and then you can think much better and you have more oxygen, and also doing activity makes you more, I don't know, in the long run it makes you really and that's why I do this, because as everyone knows, sometimes there are nights when you are so stressed that you cannot really sleep, and you know you have to wake up in the morning, but it's just not working. And for me, if I do really something exhausting in the day, I don't have any problem with sleeping, even if I'm a little bit stressed. And of course, this is really different for everyone, but I think there are things that also have to be found out for everyone. It's not like a general rule or something. That are just things that I really do, and that really help me. Something that is like my rule that I really just don't do, and I wish I wouldn't do this in my studying phase in general, but in my exam session, and especially the day before the exam or on the day of the exam, I don't watch any Netflix or something, and I try not to watch YouTube as well, but sometimes I do watch like 10-minute video. But I think really like doing something that it can really relax you, but for me it's more that I forget the time, or when I watch something for like 40 minutes or more, I cannot focus anymore, and this is not something that is going to help me with my stress if I know that I have to read my summary till the end or something like that. So I just really try not to get distracted by things like also social media or in general, internet and things like that. So these are things that I really do during the day, and in the evening I really try to, first of all, prepare everything that I need for the next day. Like I just prepare my backpack and I just pack everything that I need for the next day, like my pencil case, my student ID, my water bottle, some snacks maybe, and I just put all this in my bag that I'm not stressed in the morning. The other thing, when I really have like too much energy, I like to go on a walk or do some workout, so I'm really a little bit tired, and then I also try to eat my dinner quite early, like about 7 p.m. So I really have this time span of like 2.5 or 3 hours until I'm going to bed, because as we probably know, it's not good to eat too late into the night, and this is the one thing. And I also try to shower quite early, because I guess showering also rejuvenates you a little bit, like it's like refreshing, and this isn't something that you want for going to bed, and I really like to do this quite early as well. And as I said, when you have the exam quite early in the morning, you have to go to bed at the right time, and that's why I also like to do this evening routines in that sense quite early. So I have this at least 2 hours in the evening that I'm not distracted by my phone. I really put it into the airplane mode. I don't turn my Wi-Fi, and then I just really read the summary again really quickly, or I look at the flashcards. It depends what really matters more for the exam. These few hours before the bed are really essential for me, because I really think that looking at things before bed is really helpful, and in the night I just know. Somehow I just mostly know the things in the morning. One small thing also about an exam, if I have one in the evening or like at 4 p.m, even if this sounds really chill and yeah, I could sleep until 12 p.m, I still like to wake up quite early, because first of all I read the summary again on the day of the exam, but I also want to eat my lunch quite early, so I'm not in this down phase or this tired phase when I'm writing my exam. The other reason is also that I really try to stay constantly with my bedtimes. It's not always easy, but yeah. So these are the things that I really do the day before / on the same day. If you just look at a day when I have the exam in the morning, first of all, you really have to get up on the right time. And this is really important, to just have this enough, I don't know, like 45 minutes, so you can really prepare everything and not be stressed, because there's nothing worse than getting to exam too late. So if you look at a day when I have an exam in the morning, then the first thing I do, and I generally try to do, is to drink water, so that my body has water and that my brain has water from the beginning of the day, and that I don't drink everything before the exam and then I have to go to the toilet. And here's also another point that I like to stress, is I really try to prepare everything that I can the day before, like as I said, my backpack, so I don't have to think about this in the morning, because most of the time if I did that, it just didn't turn out well and I just forget everything. And the same is for clothing. I really like to think about the weather or the situation the next day and just choose something that I really want to wear and something that's comfortable, and just prepare this the day before, so in the morning I just can put it on and don't think more about this. And as you may know, and you follow me for some time on YouTube, I really like to do breakfast, and I don't do like really fancy stuff, but I just like to include some ingredients that I think are really helpful for my concentration and for my brain in that sense. I don't do a smoothie in the morning because this is just too loud, but in my breakfast I always try to include several things. One of these is oats, and then I will really like to include milk or vegan yogurt, and banana, at least half of a banana, some nuts and or peanut butter, and then also blueberries. So I really think that these ingredients really make for a whole food breakfast, and I always have like enough energy and enough nutrients to write a test. And most of the times I also don't eat something during the test, first of all because mostly there's no time, or I just want to have the whole time, and the second thing is I'm mostly not hungry. So really including really healthy foods, but also a little bit of carbohydrates is really good to not get hungry like in 20. Even though I prepare everything that I can the day before, there are some things you can't prepare. And for example, this is water. I always take my water bottle with me, so I have water for my test, thirsty, and also maybe some snacks. As I said, I mostly don't eat something, but in the case I am hungry, I just take something, and maybe also for lunch or something, I prepare other things in the morning. One thing is really important, I always have a watch with me. Some people think this is more stressful, but for me, I really like to know how much time I have during the exam, so I can, you know, like think about, do I have to read a little bit faster or can I take it slowly? So I always take a watch with me, and I'll like, obviously it's always the best thing to brush your teeth in the morning, so I really do that, so I'm like really fresh and prepared for the exam. As I have to go by train to ETH, I really use this train journey a little bit as a buffer period, so I really try to relax in, and sometimes I really think I could read the summary again, but the 15 minutes didn't really make up for the time I need for that, so I often just listen a little bit to the music or just look out the window and really, I don't know, try not to think about the exam too much and not to stress about it, just be in the moment and enjoy the journey so much as I can. You can always go into the exam room like half an hour beforehand, and I try to go right away, and I also always go to the toilet beforehand, so I don't use the time in my test. When I have installed my desk and I have put everything on there, like my water bottle, my pencil case and my student ID and maybe some snacks, when I have all the things, then I read the summary quickly, like, you know, like when you have 60 pages, you cannot read everything like in a half an hour, but I really try to go through this, or maybe I go through the flashcards really quickly, so if I didn't see something the day before, I really see it now. And this really, I don't know, sometimes people feel that this is really stressful, but I think, for example, talking with others is too stressful for me. I really don't like to do that, because maybe then you realize, oh, I don't know that, and there's so much time to learn, like half an hour before the test. So I'd rather just read the summary again. And last year I didn't do that with one test, and this was a big mistake, and yeah, I just always do that because I think it's really better for me to have this last information flood in the last minute, because short time memory is the best. Not really. I just really do that, and yeah, then it's start of the exam, and yeah, these are the things that I really do to not be stressed and to have a really nice routine before my exam, and these are really things that help me not to be stressed and to go relax to the exam. And of course, one thing I have to add here is, if you have studied the whole summer or more or less this whole summer, you're not gonna be stressed, and this is the point of this. And of course, these things help you to be more relaxed and more chill, but if you haven't studied the whole summer, nothing of this will help. So yeah, these are just like some tips, and I hope you could find some value in them. Yeah, if you'd like to see more things like that, more things about the ETH, about studying, about exams, write me in the comments below. I always like some input. And if you'd like to stick around, subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. I would really appreciate that, and I hope I will see you in the next video.